And thank you for all your sharings and all the expressions of gratitude. It's really someone above who designed all this and made all this happen. And so my gratitude also to that one, but also to all of you. Usually when we think about purpose, we think about things out there. I remember someone telling me that when they were 20, they had a map for themselves and they had decided what they would achieve by age 25, 30, 35, 40. And now age 40, they had done all the things that they had planned to do. But they still didn't feel fulfilled. There was an emptiness inside. And so that made them move on another trajectory, one inside, to see what was going on inside and to see what was the purpose of the inner being and the inner calling. And so many of us reach that point at different times in our life. It might not be 40, it might be at 19, it might be much later on in life. But there does come a point when I ask myself the question, well, what's going on and what is my purpose? And we begin to see that all the external goals are very much part of the world around us here, but there's something more than that we haven't thought about. And so whenever that moment comes, it's a turning point. And when we look inside and we see that there's been a disconnect with the things inside and the things that we've been doing outside. And the things that we've been doing outside collectively as a human family have created all the things that we see outside. On one level we would say that yes, we are responsible, but then to take it a little bit more personally and think about everything that's going on outside and to say that I am responsible, that's again a big shift from the we to the I in terms of, yes, what did I do to the environment? What did I do to the whole aspect of understanding life or education or health? And so when I say I am responsible, it's actually not a burden, but it's a way to also find the solution. Because if I'm responsible for what's happening out there, and I accept that, then I also have the possibility of changing things out there. Sometimes we separate ourselves. Everything that's out there is so challenging, so difficult. What can I do about it? But when I accept the responsibility, then I know that I can also provide the solution to whatever it is that's going on outside. And the solution is to be able to allow my own inner values, and through silence, introspection, reflection, meditation, call it what you will, I can have a glimpse of those qualities that are there within. And then I start experimenting to see if the qualities inside can have an impact in whatever it is I'm doing out there. And a very short story, but many of you might have heard it. But a man's walking past 3 people who are building a wall. And he stops with the first one and asks, "What are you doing?" And the man says, "I'm building a wall to earn my bread and butter." He walks a little bit further. And the same task, building a wall, but he asks this person, and the man says, "I'm doing this to be able to care for my family." A little bit further on, and same question, same task. And this time the man says, "I'm building a cathedral for the glory of God. Same task, different awareness, different consciousness, different attitude. And you can imagine what the face of the first one must have been like, what the face of the second one must have been like, and what the face of the third person must have been like. And so, whatever it is I do on an external level, whatever area of service it is I'm engaged in, it's fine. I have the experience, I have the expertise, I have the qualifications. But imagine what it would be like if, connecting with my own core values, I now allow these core values to impact whatever it is I do. And not just on the impact on myself, but also the impact on the atmosphere, the impact on the task, and how far-reaching that would be. Walls don't speak, but they listen. They absorb all the vibrations of whatever it is that's going on. Food isn't just nourishment for the body, but the consciousness with which the food is prepared would be the consciousness that's filled within the food. Some years ago, I was at a retreat in Italy, and the brother who was cooking was making fabulous things. And we had him on a panel to share his spiritual experience while cooking. And so the first question was, well, what is the consciousness in which you cook? And he said, I cook in the consciousness of being a grandmother. And he explained that a mother has to do the cooking. She's well, she's not well, she's tired, doesn't matter. There has to be something on the table. And so there's a sense of duty that drives that, and a sense of time. Got to get this done, got to get this done. But a grandmother cooks things which are extra goodies, and she cooks with love. And she's not doing it out of duty, she's doing it simply out of love. And so the same task, and our consciousness will determine what is the power, the spiritual power, the emotional, mental power that's filled into that task. And so you can see how I don't have to give up my job, I don't have to leave the world, but I just have to change what's going on in here. And when I connect with myself and access those original qualities that are there, and they're there in each and every one, and so connecting with those values means that they start emerging, and I use them in my thinking, in the time that I have, in the attitude that I have. And so the actual karma, the action that I performed, is a little different. And so I think at this point in human history, where it feels that the world outside is totally divorced from the inner qualities of the being that each one is, the task is not so much to find a different system, to find a different external thing, but to change the inner awareness and come back to the awareness of the inner being, the connection with the self, and therefore my own inner values, and to start using those. And as I do this, I change and my little world changes. But beyond my little world, there's an impact on others also. Each one of us has an influence, and some of the people in the room, maybe all the people in the room, have an impact not just on 100 others, it's an impact on thousands of others. And so if today I make that decision to stay connected, Yes, meditation, reflection is a time in which I can become aware of what's going on inside, and to go below the surface and deep inside myself to connect with those qualities. It's beautiful to have that glimpse, to have that feeling, but the challenge is to allow that experience to translate into the work that I do. I sit in meditation for however long. Can be 10 minutes, can be 30 minutes. Well, how much longer? It'll always be a certain part of my timetable. But when I bring that awareness into the work that I do, into the interaction that I have with others, then that's not just 30 minutes or 10 minutes, that's then all the time. And of course, that's when I get distracted and I come outside, or there's a leakage. And the leakage that comes is when, instead of focusing my mind on what I now know to be the priority, and that is my values, instead of that, I begin to have waste thoughts. Why is it like this? It shouldn't be like this. If only, but maybe. So all those thoughts are draining me of my energy. And even worse, where those thoughts of why, what, if, how, and but then get attached to another human being. And I say, but this one is doing this, that's why it's like this. If they stop doing this, it will be so much better. Gandhi said, when you point a finger here, 3 fingers are pointing at me. And so I have to not allow the leakage to happen, because beyond these little questions and the waste of energy, where it then gets attached to a human being, and I see them as being responsible, they are the fault, they are the thing that's going wrong. That really is dangerous, because then that allows not just wastage, but a breakdown inside, because I'm allowing a lot of negativity to come in. And that negativity is what takes away my happiness, my energy, my power, and is a total contradiction to my own original state of being. And so, to keep looking inside. And yes, I'm here in the world and everything has to be done. The table has to be cleaned, the water bottles have to be refilled. So whether it's little tasks or beautiful tasks like creating this image of beauty here, all of that has to be done. But can I do whatever it is I do, filled with the qualities of the inner being, rather than just doing it as a task? And every contribution to beauty and truth and peace and love is what impacts everyone around me and others beyond also. One act of kindness has an impact on 125 others. That was experiment at a Harvard summer school. I won't go into the story, but one act of kindness by an ordinary individual, 125. But imagine those who have an impact on 1,000 and multi-thousands. If there's that shift from here to here, that's it. Very simple. Coming back here and reminding myself through the whole period what's going on here. Om Shanti.